he told the league about it, knows about it. All right.
Welcome back. Let's not waste any time. I'm going to show you the results from the Premier Division games that took place yesterday. Here they are on the screen for you right now. Let's have a look at what's happening in the Premier Division. Big game, Ace versus St Catherine's. Both teams have jumped up to the Premier Division. They played out a 2-2 draw in the Summer League, and Ace decided to come back and take them to the cleaners this time. 6-3, 9 goals scored. I'm sure it was a thoroughly entertaining game, but Ace managed to beat them by 6 goals to 3 and show that they truly are a Premier Division side. London Tigers stuttering and faltering, but they've managed to win ugly, I suppose. They've beaten Bromley by 1-0. Reach Out have done what they need to do against a hapless Hawk and Eagle by beating them by 3-0. And Stepney, our early season flyers, just managed to stumble across the line and get a 2-2 draw against Robin Hood Tigers, who in all effects, Rush, should really have won the game.
I think so. I think Robin Hood, had they sorted one of the issues they had for the last couple of seasons, to be honest, is the punctuality. Starting with the strongest 11. Once they do that, they will get results, because in terms of quality, in terms of play, in terms of skills, instead of power and the passion, they've got it. It's just a matter of getting the 11 men on the pitch and bang on kick-off time. That's where they are struggling, because once they got the full team, they started off with, I think, 8 or 9 men, but once they got the 11 man, the energy and the way they play is really good to watch, and it's very, very threatening to opposition. Stepney, with the skills and experience, they managed to get the 2 goals, but I think they're lacking in terms of fitness and youth in legs, because in the last 20 minutes, they were sitting back, they were 2-1 up, sitting back, and try to hold off. And Robin Hood, being strong and young, kept pushing and pushing and pushing, eventually got the draw, and in my opinion, had a couple of more chances to finish off, even in the last 2 minutes. Even in the last second of the game, they had a chance, but unfortunately they couldn't. So, in long-term wise, I think Robin Hood Tigers can be successful, can get better, but they need to sort the punctuality out, because that's the area they falter in. And Stepney, I would say definitely they need to look at comes from the young leagues, because yes, they got experience, yes, they got a lot of veteran players, so to speak, but they may be struggling in long-term wise, in terms of legs-wise, for the remainder of the season.
Let's have a look at the table for the Premier Division as it stands. Here it is for you. Stepney, 3 games, 7 points. That's fine. They've got a great goal difference, but look who are right behind them. Point behind them with a game in hand is Ace, and that's looking great for them. Looking forward to the game they may have against Reach Out, which will be coming up in a few weeks' time. Robin Hood Tigers find themselves 4th in the table. 3 games, 4 points. It's early days. London Tigers find themselves with 3 points after 2 games. How things can very, very quickly change. My eyes now are on the bottom 3 in Beaumont, St Catherine's, Hawk and Eagle. Beaumont have only played 1, but Nanu, I have to come to you and say, if Hawk and Eagle, or when Hawk and Eagle come up against St Catherine's, which is a fixture that's going to come up very, very soon, it's not looking great for either side, but I fear that St Catherine's have much more firepower than Hawk and Eagle will ever do.
Yeah, St Catherine's definitely have the slight edge over Hawk and Eagle, that I can admit. Both of the teams will be struggling this season. They've just got promoted. Is a major, huge difference from the first division into the Premier Division. You know, you're up against Reach Out, London Tigers, Bromley, you know, those kinds of teams, and you have to take it seriously as well. So both of these teams, I think they will struggle throughout the season, and I would be surprised if they can hang on to the Premier Division at all, because, okay, still early days, they haven't got any points. They will get 1 or 2 points, but if they don't get those points earlier on in the next 1 or 2 games, then that would demoralize the team. And when that starts to happen, you have this sort of domino effect, and it just goes on to, you know, brushes off onto the players, and then demoralization gets to the team, the managers and everything, and it makes it really difficult, you know, and it's a really difficult situation to be in as well, you know, and it's so difficult to get out of it as well, you know. So the only way to do it is try and stick to the plan, and try and hope that things will improve, or bring in new players. If it doesn't work, you've got to start changing. In defense of Hawk and Eagle, I've watched their team last 2 weeks. It's a complete new team. So I think you have to give the new manager, the new team, a chance to obviously fix his team, get his first 11, so to speak, because it's a younger side. It's not, they've been quite successful in recent years, but a lot of the players are not in the team now. So I think now it's a completely different team. So I think they just need time. A bit surprised with St Catherine's, because we know what they can do with the firepower they have. Yes, they were in Division 1, but with Premiership, I felt they would be able to compete. So I'm a bit surprised to see they're actually on the second from bottom. But Hawk and Eagle, I think they need time, because a new team, new manager, new set of players. I think it just needs time. Well, these two teams haven't been in the Premier for such a long. I mean, this is the first time ever for Hawke and Eagle coming into Premier Division. St. Catherine's have had some experience. The other team that has experience in the Premier Division is Ace, you know, and they're doing fantastic. I think it's about experience as well, and being in a very competitive division and trying to achieve something.
Having said that about experience, though, we talk about Hawke and Eagle, maybe, you know, new team coming in, lacking experience. It's time for it to come. St. Catherine's lacking experience, need to come back. They do have 1 or 2 experienced players in there. Then I have to look at somebody like Robin Hood Tigers, who they've managed to grind it out. A win and a draw out of their first 3 games. They've got to be happy with that. Yeah. And they were up against Stepney. Okay, it's an Asian side, but it's still a Stepney side.
Yeah, still a good side.
They've done well. And it's interesting to see how these new teams will pan out, new teams to the division, how you guys will pan out. We're watching your fixtures with interest over the next few weeks. Let's have a look at the first division table. Here it is now. I'm loving the first division. We're seeing Redcoat and PYO atop, 3 games each, 7 points, with Esprit right behind them. There's not a lot to play for. 3 points separate 5 teams, going down to Burdett and Bow. And then we've got Arsenal, Seoul Youth, Stepney, Lotus have got their first 3 points, and AMY. None of us sitting on this panel, I think, would have expected to see them at the bottom. Still 2 games and still looking for their first point. Let's have a look at the fixtures coming up this weekend. Good game in the Prem. Ace play the London Tigers, and this will be a true measure of where Ace are in the Premier Division. And if they win that game, then that's going to put a big gap between them and the current Premier Division champions. Beaumont play their second game, but it's a tough game for them up against Reach Out, who are looking to chase all and everyone above them in the table at the moment. Robin Hood Tigers take on St. Catherine's, a game where St. Catherine's could get their first 3 points, but also a game where the Tigers will be looking to kick on and establish themselves in the division. And Stepney take on Bromley, one of the oldest Premier Division fixtures in the calendar, takes place again this Sunday, the 9th of October. Into the first division. Here are the first division fixtures. Bow take on Esprit, Burdett take on Stepney, PYO take on AMY, Redcoat take on Lotus, and Seoul Youth take on Arsenal. Those 2 teams at the bottom of the list there will be keen to get some points on the board, not least Seoul Youth, who can score twice, have scored 4 goals in a game and come out losers both times. You heard me mention in the first part of the show that there's an opportunity for teams from First and the Prem to meet up with each other. Yes, that's right. On the 16th of October, we have the preliminary round for the ILFL League Cup. And because there are the 2 divisions, the preliminary round means, well, it means this. I'm going to turn to Rush.
Well, basically, to make the structure, all 9 teams from Premiership will qualify. The top 4 from division will automatically qualify for the first round, and the bottom 6 will go in the draw for the preliminary round, which will happen next week in our show. So with those 3 winners, they'll join the other 13 to make the 16 team for the first round.
So that makes the fixtures again this week. You've just seen me show the fixtures for the first division this weekend. That makes the fixtures this weekend quite key for all of those in the first division, because even right down to Lotus, a win there could propel them right up, and that puts them into the next round, for the first round proper of the cup.
So definitely this Sunday is a key date for the teams at the bottom of the Division 1 to make sure they get the win, to avoid the preliminary round if they can, and hopefully, you know, see what happens. But it is an opportunity because with ILFL we want all the teams to participate, so therefore we have to make it fair, and this is the best way to make sure that all teams participate in the League Cup itself.
I'm just looking at I'm going to show you again the first division fixtures, if you want to care to show them on the screen again. And I'm just looking at the key games there that are going to matter. The winner of that Seoul Youth Arsenal game will put themselves automatically into the first round of the League Cup, which will then be played the week after. I'm looking at Lotus Redcoat. Lotus really have to try and get something out of Redcoat to progress. Don't know what's going to happen there. AMY have to get something out of PYO as well. And also that game between Burdett and Stepney B. Stepney need to propel themselves up the table in a game against Burdett. And I have to say, we were talking earlier about Burdett. I went on down on Sunday to watch the game between Burdett and PYO in what I thought was a really good game between 2 good teams. 2 different attacking styles. PYO very quick on the break. Burdett very good at holding the ball up and bringing other people into play. Went ahead twice. PYO missed 3 penalties, I have to say, as well on the day. Another story, we won't talk about that one. But a good game, and I like what's happening in the first division. Burdett looked like a team that could really do things.
With like so Burdett, PYO and Bow, I'm quite impressed because the managers have changed the system from gone in the previous years. They're more serious, more determined, more organised. Teams that turn up early, getting changed during the warm-up drills, which I haven't seen in the previous season. So it's good to see that. So hopefully that will pay you off in the long term wise.
Absolutely. Good luck to all of you guys taking part in your football this Sunday. Looking forward to talking about it next Monday and see how it all pans out. You heard us talking about the cup there. The Premier Division teams, you're all safe and you will all be in the hat for the draw, which will take place live on the show next Monday. And once that draw takes place that evening, all of the fixtures will go live on the system. You will obviously know who you're playing and where you're going to play your games on the day. So that's next Monday night. Tune in, 8 o'clock. Don't miss it. That's the draw for next week. Veterans League. We're going to split this over the next two segments. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the results of all Veterans League's games from last week, and then we'll bring Nanu in to talk about them. So here are the Veterans Summer League Premier Division results for you here on the screen right now. A bizarre result, I have to say. Anyway, Abahani and Sire Vets played out a 1-1 draw. No surprise there, I suppose. London Tigers and Stepney Legends played out a 2-2 draw. Maybe a little bit of a surprise there. I thought Tigers would have taken it, but Stepney managed to peg them back. But look at this. The Weavers Vets beating St Catherine's Vets by 10 goals to 1. And before I go any further with talking about any of the results, 10 goals in a Vets League game, has that ever happened before?
No.
No, but in extreme cases it may happen. It really depends on the day and how many players turn up. And to be fair, St Catherine's didn't have full team, and Weavers just took advantage of that.
Absolutely.
And they know that if they can get as much goal as possible now, it might help them later on in the season between goal differences, because we all know how tight the Veterans League is.
So I have to ask then, what is going on with the St Catherine's Vets? They work so hard to get themselves back up in the Premier Division, and they just can't buy a win at the moment.
I know,
the morale
it is
seems
tough.
to be really low.
Well, it really depends, you know. I mean, a couple of seasons ago, I remember, you know, some of the players, even the management, saying, you know, we haven't won a single game. And I said, well, what do you expect? You in the Premier Division, you know. So they got relegated. They go straight into the First Division, and they win the First Division title, and they, you know, the morale is up there. All the players are happy, you know, cheesy smiles and everything. They've scored a lot of goals and stuff like that. Now they're back up in the Premier again, and they're struggling.
So what is it? Are they
Squad the same.
It's the same squad.
Yeah, the same squad.
So they've come straight back up. They're arguably too good for First Division, not good enough for Prem. That tells me that they're missing a player, or they're missing a couple of players.
They need to add a few more players. For me, they need to add more players because they're relying on the same squad. I think with the Vets, every season I've watched certain teams are adding more players. The new 35-year-olds, the fresh 35-year-olds. If you don't do that, then you're going to left behind. I think with St Catherine's, I've seen the same players play the last 3 seasons, so I think they're lacking that. They need to add a bit more firepower, a few more new players, freshen it up and give it a bit more challenge, because they are a good side, because on the day they can actually beat anyone. They're one of the dark horses in the last 3 seasons. So this season, it's been a downhill. They can't, you know, as you said, they can't buy a win. So unless they get new fresh legs or new 35-year-olds, I think they'll struggle all season, which is a shame really, because they are a good side when they play, and you know, a lot of people don't, you know, they're one of the teams I like watching, but it's not looking good for them this season.
It's not looking good for them, and this week they're up against London Tigers.
Yeah, and it's going to be an absolute bloodbath if they're not careful. Honestly, they need to get all of the players. They need to get a massive squad in there, and they really need to give it a big push. You know, I mean, after losing 10-0 in 1 week, who knows? You know, they might come back winning the game. I mean, and having said all of that as well, I mean, London Tigers, they don't seem to be as strong as they were the previous season. You know? And I wouldn't say that they're struggling, they're stuttering. You know, I mean, they're not getting as many goals as they used to. And I mean, if you look at the results, I mean, they were 2-2 against Stepney Legends, and Stepney Legends are not the strongest team as well. Yeah,
to write home about at the moment. So it could be a game that St Catherine's gets something out of it. Really, it could. If they turn it around. Listen, guys, you've heard us many times in the show talk about you and the way the style of football you play, and the fact they're always looking forward to you getting 3 points. Maybe this is your chance now. But well done to Weavers Vets. Let's not take anything away from you. A fantastic performance, and you showed everybody how to do it. We're going to talk more about the first and second division, show you the tables, games to come this Thursday, all in the next part of the show. Stick around, we're still here live on the ILFL Soccer Night Show, and we'll be back after this short break.